In the spirit of the holidays, we want you to celebrate with your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicappers and do it at a discount by giving you a one-time 25% off everything you can fit into your cart between now and midnight on December 25th using coupon code GIFT25 when checking out. While this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo, the value is unlimited and there is no limit on what you can add to your cart when redeeming. Daily, all access, season, pick your team, and even mix and match handicappers as the combinations are endless. Remember, there is no limit to the number of handicappers at WagerTalk and Sports Memo you can lock in, but coupon code GIFT25 will expire at midnight on Christmas. On behalf of everyone at WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and Gold Sheet, we want to thank you for supporting us in 2022 by watching our videos, following us on social media, and trusting us with your wagers. However you celebrate, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Oh, everybody to WagerTalk Today. Teddy covers with me like always. I'm Lawrence Presman, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Well, you can tell I'm in a good mood, and yes, the track pants are still on. Oh, yeah. 4-0 yesterday. They're starting to stink. Teddy, before I start bragging, tell us who's on this show and what they'll be talking about.
I'll take the over on starting to stink. Yeah. One thinks they might already be stinking, being that you were in there for 2 weeks now. We're going to open up the show with Rob Veno. Rob's going to talk college football bowl action, Duke against Central Florida, and some NFL for this weekend, the Lions and the Panthers. Adam Trigger's going to join us next. He's going to talk some NFL out of the gate, the 49ers against the Commanders, and some college hoops in the late night action tonight. Pepperdine facing Hawaii. Kevin Dolan is going to join us with some NHL talk, the Flames and the Kings for this evening, and then some EPL, Bournemouth and Chelsea. Coming up, my big game breakdown is going to be some college hoops for tonight. We'll talk South Carolina and West Kentucky. So it is a loaded Thursday edition, my friend. Back to you.
Teddy covers. I need a moment. So Big Daddy writes in the chat room, by the way, Big Daddy, we love you. Thanks for joining us all the time, every day. He writes, Jessica Gensry, what's good? So I'm going to answer on behalf of Jessica. Jessica is an all-access client of the Prez. Last 4 or 5 days ago, she bought my all access for a week. Okay, 4-0 last night, still wearing the pants. I'm on day 14 with the same pants. They've never been washed. I am wearing them underneath my jeans when I have to go to a restaurant. That's how important it is for me to win for my clients, that I'm wearing stinky pants. So, I'm 7-1 in the bowls. I'm on a 21-8. Yeah, thank God you took Teddy off the screen there. I'm on a 21-8 college basketball run. I'm on a 37-15 basketball run. I've won 13 of my last 16 days. I'm up in every single sport that is currently going except hockey. I'm down 9 units. I'm up on the entire calendar year. I'm just up, man. Like, up. Like, I don't know what more to tell you people. Okay. Teddy, do you want to tell everybody about the Christmas special we got running?
No, Lawrence, why don't you tell everyone about that? You're so good at the promotion. Why don't you tell them how they can buy you?
So, guys, I really suggest you buy Teddy. Grab his all access, put whatever you want in the cart, and then use the promo code GIFT25. You get 25% off of the entire cart. You only get to do this once. So buy 6 years of Teddy covers, get 25% off the whole 6 years. or anybody else's plays. Rob Veno, Adam Trigger. Have no sound. Daniel, the YouTube peeps are saying no sound. Okay, well, Joe says we have sound, so keep going, Robert.
Yeah. I'm glad you scheduled me for Thursday, Prez. This is a great start to a show today for the holiday season.
Well, listen, man, they're calling you the Italian Stallion. I have actually decided, I told Vivian last night, I've decided to go as Lorenzo. I watched the Lamborghini movie, and his name, do you know the name, Teddy, Rob, do you know the name of the original, like, Lamborghini guy? Do you know his first name?
I do not.
Teddy?
Clearly, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, Americans and Canadians, we use names like Adam, Rob, Teddy, John, Steve, Bob, Tim. His name is Ferruccio. I have decided that Italians know how to name their children. I am now Lorenzo. Robert, what game are we talking about first? I don't know. I've lost the plot. Duke versus Central Florida. How are we betting this one?
Yeah, this is the Navy Marine Corps Military Bowl at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. Could be a little bit cold weather there. Northeast here, we are seeing some winter type weather at this point in time. But I'm going to play this one with Duke, Prez minus the 3.5, and it's purely situational. You know, these and motivational, both situational, motivational.
Why did you wrap that?
Means
Can you wrap that out for us? He's situational. It's motivational. You are.
I'm going to see if Jay Money can get me some T-shirts that say situational and motivational. But these early bowl games, a lot of them do depend on motivation. Let's just go with Central Florida right here, guys. And I asked Ralph yesterday, and I know Ralph cannot pull this number from the database. Part of the reason why I asked him, because it would be impossible to. But Central Florida is in a unique situation where they lose their conference championship game. Off of that loss, you get invited to a minor bowl. You don't get to play a real brand name team. Duke is not a big name. You're not playing an SEC or a Big 12 or a Big 10. Just don't know where UCF's motivation is for this game off of that conference championship loss. They've got quarterback issues. John Rice Plumlee, obviously hamstring injury. Backup quarterback Mikey Keene's in the transfer portal. And if need be, they're going to be stuck with a true freshman named Thomas Castellanos, 9 of 16 for 75 yards this year. So the quarterback situation might not be great for UCF in this particular game. Duke, on the other hand, motivation's all in their corner. Mike Elko takes over, and most preseason publications had Duke down the bottom of that Coastal Division, and Mike Elko did wonders here, got them to this bowl game. Ralph did present me with a number yesterday that I was unaware of. Duke is the only team involved in bowl action this year that has not had a single player hit the transfer portal. So Duke ready to go here. Balanced offense. UCF really dependent on Rice Plumlee's legs to get things done. So again, the hamstring injury could hurt them. Want to point out one number here for those who like to play second half, first half, second half stuff. To show you how good Elko's been in the second half with his adjustments here, Duke is 10-2 against the spread in the second half this year. They come in on a pretty good high, 5-1 against the spread their last 6. I'm going to play Duke, even though the line has switched favorites. Central Florida opened that way. Duke is now the 3-point chalk. I'll lay the 3 with Duke.
Well, let me ask you about this, Rob, because it stands out to me. You talked about the struggles that UCF had down the stretch and the loss to Tulane, obviously, and 0-3 against the spread. Never really sniffed a point spread cover in late November, whereas Duke closed out the season, in a resounding fashion. 3 straight covers, 5 in their last 6 games. From a value standpoint, and it's not all about value in the postseason, it's about who's going to show up.
Right.
But from a value standpoint, because my powering numbers don't have to lay in a field goal to UCF on a neutral field. Is this all motivation?
It's all motivation, Teddy. And if your power ratings did have Duke favored, then I'd be the guy questioning you, cross-examining, because it would be wrong. I don't have them the favorite either, power rating wise. And I think you said it best. It doesn't really, value doesn't mean everything in these bowl games. It is who shows up. Feel like Duke will be the team to show up here. Let's hope we don't get a rerun of that dreaded Duke bowl game that a lot of people like to forget.
Robert Ferruccio Vino joining us, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. An awesome handicapper, a better guy. Rob, you want to talk Detroit Lions versus Carolina? I love this game. I'm in play on this game. My clients will be betting this game. What do you suggest here?
I had a lot of ways to go at this one, Prez, just from my handicapping, but I'm going to really shorten this thing up and almost play a proposition bet, which is the Lions team total over 22.5. And it's a little bit of a fade of the Carolina defense. I think that if you just asked 100 people on the street that watch football, what do you think Carolina's best asset is? They would probably say, well, they run the ball and play good defense. Their defense is ranked 17th. Which is, obviously below average in the NFL. And it's 17th, despite the fact that in 14 games this year, they've only played 4 top 15 offenses. The majority of the offenses, 71% of those, have been poor. And they still only rank 17th on defense. Lions will be the best offense, at least ranking-wise, that they face all season long to this point. Lions are ranked number 4. So I think that Carolina's defense could be in for some issues here against the Lions. The Lions' offense, it's the opposite. This is kind of a step down in class for them. They have played a lot of top 10 defenses so far this season. Not all of those games did they score over 22.5. But last week, let's just take, for instance, the 20 they put on the Jets. I get it included a punt return. They did have a turnover on downs on the 2-yard line. They gained more yards in that game than the Jets allow on average. So for them, this step down in class, I think presents a little bit of an advantage. I would say this, the balance that they have, Prez, mostly due to that offensive line, which every week when we look at the injury report, including this week, seemingly is banged up, and yet they still open up holes for those backs. They still protect Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been sacked less than any quarterback in the NFL this year. They're actually tied with 2 other teams, only 19 sacks allowed. Carolina's not a real pressure team. I see a lot of advantages for the Lions, but I'm going to choose this one for the show, the fact that they'll get to 24 points here. In the 4 games that Carolina did play a top 15 offense, they gave up 24 or more to every single one of them. Detroit will be the 5th. I'll take the Lions team total over 22.5.
Love it, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers haven't given up more than 24 points in any of their last 5 games. And really, I think, 3 times in their last 10. It's not like they've been gashed. But this is my question. Here's a Lions team that didn't get to 22.5 last week, playing outdoors in the cold. And it's going to be cold in Carolina this week. And the Panthers are going to try to run the football against Detroit. And one would think their game plan is to keep that Lions off the field. Do you worry at all about either of those 2 factors, the cold conditions, the Panthers game plan? Are those concerns for you here?
The cold conditions, no, because what I have TC is 28 to 29 degrees during that 4-hour window where they're going to play this game, 7-mile-an-hour winds. I've got sunny and cloudy. So to me, that's not really anything for these NFL players. It's not 3, it's not 4, it's not below freezing, below 0, any of that. And now that I talked about the weather, I forgot the other part of your question, but your concerns are not my concerns. Should that be flat out no, Prez?
Yeah, you're not worried about it because you like the pick.
Are we
Not
worried
worried
about
about it.
Carolina's ability to run the football and shorten the game, which is going to keep the Jets, in theory, from getting 24 points?
There you go. And to that point, Teddy, I think that's everybody's game plan against Detroit right now. Obviously, it would have been the Jets' game plan last week with Zach Wilson at quarterback. And again, the 20 against the Jets, whose defense is superior to Carolina, just figure like you can add 3 points onto that against this Carolina defense. Again, when you're playing 10 of your 14 games against teams that rank 16th or less, between 16 and 32 in the NFL in total offense, and you are still only the 17th ranked defense in the league, that's not real good. Detroit will have opportunities. Detroit had opportunities to get over this number last week. I think it's a step down in class. So I'm not real concerned. I think Detroit, could Carolina win the game? Sure, they could. But will Detroit get over 22.5 points? I'm pretty sure they will.
Robert Veno, everyone. Awesome stuff, Robin. Before we ask you what to promote, Jessica writes in the chat room, Italian food is the best. Gordon Mathers writes, Italian food is the best behind Indian food. I just want to say for the record, Italian food is not even close to the best. Italian food is a chef on acid. All the top Italian chefs got together about 50 years ago. They dropped acid. They looked at the spaghetti and they said, hey, if we flatten it, we can call it fettuccine. If we spin it, we can call it fusilli. If we cut it, we can call it penne. And then the other chef's like, but it's still just pasta. And he's like, well, we got to have more than one damn thing on the menu. So we're just going to take this one ingredient, we're going to put it in a bow tie, and we'll call it bow tie pasta. We're going to make it a whip. We'll call it cowboy pasta. Okay, no spaghettini, just thin spaghetti. Fettuccine, just flat spaghetti. Indian food is the best food on the planet, bar none, period, end of story. Butter chicken is a masterpiece. Garlic naan is like a gift from God. Thai food is next. Robert, anything to add to that?
This show is so educational, Prez. I swear to God, every time I come on, I learn something new. I'll promote real fast so I can get out of your hair and let Adam talk, because I know he's got good stuff to say here. College football bowl games, 4-1 last 5, and a pair of 5-star releases up and available right now, WagerTalk.com. These games are down the road, guys, but I put them up there early because I wanted to get the best of the number. One is a side, one is a total, but 2 5% bowl game blue chips up and available right now, WagerTalk.com.
Thank you, Robert Veno and Teddy. People are saying Mexican food, and Mexican food's the same as Italian food for me. A bunch of chefs on acid with 5 ingredients, and they came up with, well, if you wrap it, it's a burrito. If you keep it open, it's a taco. If you lay it flat, it's an enchilada. I mean, it's all the same damn thing. Would you like to add something, Teddy, or should we get to what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
We got all kinds of time, Prez. Why don't you tell us your opinions about all the foods of the world and list as many as you can.
Okay, Japanese food, Teddy. Just go on, brother. What did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Well, last night something happened that, according to ESPN Stats and Info, hadn't happened in the last 30 years. And that is a college basketball underdog of 31.5 points won the game. Iowa, minus 31.5 against Eastern Illinois. And again, they were 0-558 over the past 30 seasons, if dogs of 30 points or more. No book that I know of offered a money line on the game because there's no chance the Panthers are going to win. But what happened? It got pushed forward 4.5 hours due to the blizzard on the way. Real quiet for an Iowa home game. Students have gone home or in exams. And the Hawkeyes blew them out early. It was 18-4 out of the gate. They still led by 8.5. In the second half, what happened? The Panthers shoot 21-29. While the Hawkeyes go 2 of 17 from beyond the arc and 11-36 overall. It's shocking. Yes, a 31.5 point underdog won outright yesterday. Note, this is the season for shockers. You'll see a bunch over the holidays. Focus is an issue this time of year for teams and for bettors. Be aware that's not going to be the only big dog that shocks people over the course of the next 2 weeks, 10 days. That's what I learned last night, Lawrence. What about you?
Well, firstly, I watched the movie The Swimmers. It's an absolute masterpiece. I won't get into it, but guys, it is a spectacular film. Secondly, Dirk Diggler thinks Indian food is just curry. Dirk, Indian food is maybe 20% curry. And their lamb, ooh la la, ooh, Adam Trigger. Anything to add on our most important conversation, food?
Yeah, your ranking on Italian food is too low, Prez. I got places. Next time you come to Saratoga Springs, I got a couple places I'll take you.
Adam, I've eaten at the best Italian restaurants on the frickin' planet. There's a one-star Michelin downtown Toronto, Don Alfonso. I do like Italian food, but I was brought up on Indian food. And once you're brought up on Indian food, everything else lacks flavor. That's just the way it is. When you eat a lot of Indian food, you're eating the highest, most delicate flavored food on the planet. There is no Italian restaurant you're going to take me to where I'm going to eat a piece of pasta and go, ooh.
All right, listen. I mean, the New York has better Italian food than Toronto. I'm willing to
I've eaten at those restaurants too, bro. Anyway, Teddy doesn't like this conversation, and we have a hard stop, and Teddy's so miserable listening to us talk about food right now. What do we got? Washington Commanders. You like them this week? Tell us why.
Yeah, I like them a lot this week. It's a 4% play for me. Washington +7. Came on WagerTalk Today last week. Gave out 2 4%ers. Both of them won. And the NFL one I gave out is a lot like this. It was the Bears +9. I got slaughtered in the comments, and it still got there. Last night, I talked about this on The Hustle. Everyone slaughtered me in the comments there. Makes me like it even more. I love the Commanders in this spot. First of all, I'm not buying Brock Purdy. He's had 2 starts. His 2 starts have come against below average defenses. The Seahawks defensive rating is as bad as there is. And the Bucs defense has been on a decline. And you know, you have the 49ers who have come in this sort of like, you know, they've clinched a playoff spot. I understand that they have greater aspirations than just making the playoffs. But, you know, this is the time of the year where I'm willing to oppose some of the bigger favorites, you know, in spots like this. The Commanders last week, tough loss to the Giants. In my opinion, they should have at least had a chance to tie that game. I think they got a little screwed toward the end there on a call that didn't go their way. But the Commanders, and the main reason I like this game, the Commanders have an elite defense. And specifically, their run defense is as good as there is in the league. I think they're going to pressure Purdy far more than he's been pressured so far. And I don't think McCaffrey's going to have quite as good of a game. At least it's going to be more difficult for him. I think this is too many points. I'm still not buying into Purdy as the answer at quarterback. I think he's done well so far. But 7 points is too many. I really like the Commanders in this spot.
So I took some heat on this show for talking about how when you watched Brock Purdy in college, you thought that he wasn't hopeless in the NFL. And I'll stand by that statement. Brock Purdy looked like he could be an NFL starting quarterback in college. I'm not sure that Taylor Heinicke did, you know. And after watching Taylor Heinicke play for the last couple of seasons, it's clear he's not an NFL quarterback. The Washington offense is being held back because their quarterback can't complete throws downfield. You talked about Washington's defense. San Francisco's defense is as good as any in the NFL, maybe the best in the NFL. I don't think it's that close. Their defense is blown up. I mean, no one scored more than 2 touchdowns against this team in like a month and a half. No, Miami got to 17 against them, but that was a one-sided ball game. What makes you think that Washington's going to be able to score here and Heineke's going to be able to score here against a Niners defense that is legitimately elite?
So, Teddy, I like Heinicke. I've been probably one of the bigger Taylor Heinicke supporters since he's gotten into the NFL. I said earlier, I think maybe even on this show, that I thought the Commanders were a far better team with Heinicke at quarterback than Carson Wentz. I know he doesn't have the metrics, but he does make plays. And the Commanders receivers, I think they match up well here with the 49ers secondary. I think that is the Commanders' sort of path to being able to score here is that receiving core is bordering on elite at this point, if you ask me, is from an individual standpoint. And Heineke can make plays. He doesn't make all the plays, but he can make plays. Commanders 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games outside of the division. And it really just comes down to the spot. And I think we're finally going to see Brock Purdy make a couple of mistakes. He should be under more pressure. The Commanders are excellent against the run. And it's just a spot that I don't want to back the 49ers as a touchdown favorite. I make this spread more like 4. I think you're getting some value getting the full touchdown here. It's a huge game for the Commanders, especially after that loss last week. Not quite as big of a game for the 49ers. I think I'm going to get there with the 7-point head start.
Adam, some of the guys are loving your Fairfield shirt, brother. I don't even know what it is, but yeah, it looks like a great shirt, like a Nike sweatshirt that has the word Fairfield on it. Spectacular.
Yeah, there's a little deer on there too. I don't know if this it's cutting off. Their mascot is the Stags.
That's like
the mascot.
The deer just takes the whole sweatshirt to a different level.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I love your plain blue shirt as well, Prez. It's okay.
It is. I don't know if you noticed, but it's got a little thingy here.
I see.
I don't even know what it is. Yeah, like an American eagle. Anyway, Teddy's so annoyed with me this show. Pepperdine, dude. Why are you betting
can't
them?
even imagine, dude.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Freaking beautiful.
So
Joe is hilarious.
So this is
Pepperdine.
So college hoop. This is in the degenerate special shot. Shout out to Drew Martin Betts. He calls this game the degenerate special, last game on the board. It is part of the Diamond Head Classic, which starts today out in Hawaii. So this is a home game for Hawaii, being as it's at Simplify Arena on Hawaii's home court. But it is part of a multi-team event, and I'll start my handicap there. I think that's a little bit important. The fact that even though this is a home game for Hawaii, this is one of those sort of holiday tournaments. What that means is, I think I give Hawaii less of a home court bump because Pepperdine probably got to town. They played a non-D1 opponent on Monday, probably traveled. They're set to stay for a couple days. So I don't think you're getting the full advantage of like regular season travel to play one game in Hawaii and have to travel back. And really, this Pepperdine team is one of these West Coast Conference teams that I think has been lost in the shuffle because of how good the West Coast Conference is top to bottom this year. I talked about one of them on this show last week with Santa Clara. I gave that out as a 4% play. They beat UC Irvine. And Pepperdine is a team that's projected in the West Coast Conference around 8th or 9th in a 10-team league, which seems unfair when you sort of look at how good this team is. But then when you look at all the other great teams in the WCC this year, it kind of makes sense how they got buried down there. But I do think it's sort of knocked their power rating down a little bit to the point where we're getting a ton of value on a really good team here. Prior to their game against a non-D1 team on Monday, they lost back-to-back games, both in overtime, to two really good teams, Santa Barbara and Grand Canyon. Prior to that, they lost to Nevada, another solid team. The two overtime games could have easily went their way. They led most of the Grand Canyon game. So, in my opinion, you're getting a Pepperdine team that's very undervalued here. They had their little bit of a get-right spot on Monday, beating the non-D1, getting the win, and now they come into a multi-team event that is on, quote-unquote, on the road for this game. But I just think the number is a little out of whack here. Hawaii plays slow. They play defense. They take good shots, but they're not really going to get up and down the floor. So it's probably a lower scoring game. I think that possessions will matter here. And I gave this to my clients this morning at 5. I still like it just as much at 4.5. I think Pepperdine's going to win this game. I think they're the more superior team here. But even if it's a close one, I think we have a good chance to get within the number. I like the Pepperdine Waves +5 or +4.5, 4% client play for me. I think they win tonight out in Hawaii.
You talked about how Hawaii wants to slow the game down. And Lorenzo Romar's teams don't slow the game down. Pepperdine, certainly a team that is much more efficient on the offensive side of the court than on the defensive side. Is this a game where side and total would be related? Would you look at Pepperdine and over in this one if you think the game's going to be played at their pace?
Probably, Teddy. I lean toward the over there. I think Pepperdine is going to be able to score. Maxwell Lewis, 18.5 points per game. One of the better players in that West Coast Conference, and that's saying something when you've got Gonzaga in there. St. Mary's has some great players. San Francisco just obliterated Arizona State last night. I know Cambridge was out, but still, that's an impressive win. And really, top to bottom, Santa Clara, 11-3. There's some great players out in that conference, and Maxwell Lewis is one of the top, I would say, 10 to 15, at least 10 guys in that conference, 18.5 points per game. I think Pepperdine's going to be able to score. And Hawaii at times, they have home losses this year, guys. To Texas A&M Commerce and Yale. There has been precedent for them, not being able to score at times, and it's cost them. And I think that could happen here. So I'm going to take Pepperdine +5. Client play for me. I like the Waves to win this one outright, but I will take the point.
Adam Trigger, awesome stuff. What do you got to promote?
I have a 5%er in the NFL on Saturday on Christmas Eve. I've got a 4%er in tonight's game in the NFL. I have another college basketball play today. Went 2-0 last night, so starting to heat up there. In college hoop, 3-1 over the last 2 days. And I just gave you my 4%er, Pepperdine, +5. I'm going to have some other bowls are up, and I'll be posting more over the weekend. So a bunch of stuff on my page. Go check it out. And both of those plays I gave out in the show today are both 4% client.
Beautiful stuff. Adam Trigger, everybody. Teddy, no commercial break. Somebody has gone off topic on the show too many damn times. It's time for your big game breakdown, brother.
Yeah. And it would also help if you're going to not give me a commercial break to prep my notes and get ready for it. You should probably give me a heads up ahead of time rather than just go. Big game breakdown. Knock yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would help.
You're so annoyed with me today.
Dude, you can't imagine. If I was you, I'd drop it.
Joe.
Are we ready for the big game breakdown just yet? All right. It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk a little college hoops for Thursday night, South Carolina and Western Kentucky. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing the Hilltoppers as road chalk. Call it -2.5 in most locations. South Carolina's 4-0 at home this year. West Kentucky just lost to the 2-10 train wreck Louisville squad when they were 0-9. Looks too easy, right? Yeah, of course it's too easy. South Carolina stinks. All right, this 4-0 at home, don't be fooled. It's Lamont Paris, a first-year coach, a completely rebuilt roster. They really haven't played 40 minutes of good basketball yet in any game. Don't be fooled by the 14-point losses, 16-point dogs to UAB over the weekend. They trailed by 33 in the second half of that game and hit a bunch of threes in garbage time. They followed it up with a loss in East Carolina in near pick'em point spread range. It's a bad basketball team. All right. Rick Stansbury's team isn't bad. They were 8-1 going to Louisville. The Cardinals just finally got hot. And it's worth noting, they out-rebounded Louisville in that game. They were even on turnover. They didn't shoot poorly. Have you seen Jamarian Sharp yet? This guy's a monster. 7'5" center, leads the country in blocks and blocks per game. They can control the low post in this contest. And of course, we have a common opponent between these two squads. South Carolina. At home against South Carolina State, they won 80-77. Western Kentucky, same opponent. They beat them by 26. Hilltoppers, 11-10 against Power 5 teams since the start of 2017. They've proven they can step up in class. Lay it or don't play it. This is a client play this evening. Take Western Kentucky -2.5 against South Carolina. And there's your big game breakdown. Lawrence?
Great stuff, Teddy. Let's bring Kevin Dolan in, the Irishman. How are you, my friend?
Been a while since I was last on the show, obviously. How's things?
I don't know what he just said, Teddy.
Jeez. Every
He said
time.
he's been away, and how is it?
Kev, I love you, man. You're awesome. Yesterday we were talking about the book you wrote. How's it going? It's still selling. I think it was the #1 sold handicapping book on Amazon.
Do you know, honest to God, the publisher did email me about 6 months ago. They want me to do a second edition. I'll never do it. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had writing that book. The whole process took me, I'd say, about 18 months. It makes handicapping look like a day at the park, honestly, to write a book. So, yeah, they're not particularly happy with me at the minute. But so, yeah, there'll only ever be one edition. So
Dude,
it's a good chance to pick it up.
No joke. I called Teddy like a year ago, 18 months ago. I'm like, we should write a book. He's like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, okay, I'll try it myself. I swear to God, I got about 7 sentences in, and I'm like, this is insane.
I had the same experience. Kevin did one.
Yeah.
I sat down I had a summer. I'm like, we're gonna write a book this, get it started, and no,
Yeah,
didn't happen. Wasn't close.
It's insane. Kev, NHL tonight, Calgary Flames, interesting game. They're playing the Kings. One thing we have seen with Calgary is they win 5, they lose 5, they win 5, they lose 5. They have won 2 in a row. They're on the road. It's around a pick of -110. Does the run continue for Calgary? Are they going to make their tonight a 3rd W in a row?
Yeah, I think they will, Prez. I like them to win this game tonight, take the W in LA. LA are coming off 3 straight victories, obviously themselves too, which came at home as well. But I just haven't been all that impressed with the Kings' performances over that run. They looked dead and buried against Boston last week before that late game comeback. They got pushed into overtime against a pretty poor San Jose Sharks team on Saturday as well before, winning an overtime shootout. And, again on Tuesday against Anaheim, took an absolute age to finally get going in that one offensively. And, even with that, who's not beaten Anaheim this season? So, like I said, I just haven't been all that impressed with the way the Kings have been playing of late. And, they face the Calgary Flames team later tonight who, look to have rebounded from that 5-game losing streak you just mentioned late last week. It's been back-to-back wins now for the Flames over recent starts. Both of those wins coming against the San Jose Sharks as well. But, more importantly, from a betting perspective, both of those wins came by multiple goals as well. That Calgary offense, really starting to kick into gear right now,
Yeah.
Over those 2 starts. Lindholm with 2 goals, 4 assists. Kadri with 2 goals. Dylan Dubé with multiple goals. Tyler Toffoli and so on. So, yeah, the Flames look to be back on track. And while I don't normally get all that excited about a mini 2-game winning streak, especially one that comes against the same team, Calgary's season-long data backs that up as well. They rank 5th on total shots per game. They rank 4th on high danger conversion percentage as well. And, the LA Kings tonight, 25th on scoring chances allowed this year, 20th on high danger scoring chances allowed as well, 19th on defensive XGA. So, yeah, with the form that Calgary are in right now, I like them to get the W tonight in LA against the Kings.
Dolan says, look at Calgary in NHL action for tonight. Let's take a look at some English Premier League action for early next week. Obviously, World Cup now in the rearview mirror, which means that the leagues per country is going to get all the attention. Chelsea and Bournemouth. And Chelsea, huge favorite here. They're -$3, -350. The draw is a +460. Bournemouth, huge dogs. Total 3 to the under, or 2 3/4. What are we going to do with this one, Kevin?
This is a play I'm on as well, Teddy. I like Bournemouth here, getting a plus 1.5 goal head start here on the handicap line. Chelsea had 12 players out over the recent World Cup in Qatar. That was the 3rd most out of any team in the league, while, Bournemouth had just 2. Which was the joint lowest. And we've already seen, in places like Scotland and so on, where domestic actions kicked off a little bit earlier, kicked off last week, that, those stronger teams with a kind of greater international core of players have struggled to gel immediately coming back after that month break. They've struggled to get going over those first few games. Celtic, for instance, failing to cover either of those 2 opening games back after the World Cup. And, Chelsea obviously have a lot more international players out than they do. So it's likely going to take Chelsea some time to get going here, for players to kind of gel back into the squad. And in the meantime, they face a Cherries team in this one, Bournemouth's nickname that, have had no such concerns. They've had plenty of time to prepare for this game. You've got a situation with new manager Gary O'Neill. He's had even more time to work with the squad after being made permanent manager 3 weeks ago, and that should stand them in good stead here, against the Chelsea team who, are frankly looking to build back some chemistry after the World Cup. But even without all those chemistry issues for the Blues heading into this one, Chelsea just haven't been impressive at all. winless in 5 straight before the break. They lost each of the last 3 matches outright in the league as well. And now they find themselves facing a 16-point gap between themselves and London rivals Arsenal at the top of the table. So any type of title challenge Graham Potter might have envisioned, when he took over the club back in September is, all but evaporated now. So, rumours abound that the Chelsea players are upset with Potter's constant tinkering with the squad. That obviously won't get any easier for them in this game, what with them welcoming back so many players from international duty. And, Bournemouth have really shaped up defensively since Gary O'Neill took charge. The Cherries now ranking as the 7th best team in the league on defensive XGA since October 1st. So, as I say, I like Bournemouth to hang tough on this one, likely to present some issues to Chelsea defensively. And, Bournemouth have lost by more than 1 goal in just 1 of their last 6 road matches as well. So they are a tough out for teams in big games when they look to sit back and soak up pressure. So, yeah, I'm taking Bournemouth in this one, plus 1.5 on Tuesday, minus 115 against Chelsea.
Awesome. Nice stuff, Kev. Listen, one of our chat friends wants to know the name of your book, and they will go buy it. So give us that, and then what else do you have to promote for the clients?
Yeah, it's the Complete Guide to Sports Betting over on Amazon, and we got a load of stuff going on right now, obviously, with the closeout of the year, daily NBA, NHL selections. We got a 5% college football best bet loaded up for New Year's Eve semi-final bowl play next week. We got a 5% NHL Supermax play up for tonight as well. So looking forward to that. And you can use code PT30, which knocks $30 off a 7-day all access pass until midnight on Sunday. And obviously, just before I go, I want to wish everyone a happy Christmas and what'll hopefully be a prosperous New Year as well.
Awesome stuff, Kev. I think it's Merry Christmas. I don't know. It seems to be the only time we ever use the word Merry in front of the word Christmas. Teddy, some of the users are saying that I need to do a show with Joe Ranieri. It would be pure gold. Are you thinking Joe is screaming? No. I think it would be awesome, Teddy. And maybe you could get rid of me.
I'll take the under on how many days it takes for Joe Ranieri to quit.
Joe is already quit in our ear. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Guys, listen, it's hard to do a show with Joe. He is that good. Like, I am great. Joe is better. Teddy, I cannot believe we did not get to 100 likes. I'm in absolute freaking shock. All I do is give out winners in these daily presidential addresses. Nobody wants one today. The irony of this entire show is I'm actually eating Italian food for lunch. Take us home, my friend.
The irony of the entire show is that I'm not sure how much actual sports betting information you gave over the last 45 minutes. That being said, we're through with it now. And that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of WagerTalk Today. Tomorrow, Football Friday. Be sure to tune in same time, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck with your wagers.
In the spirit of the holidays, we want you to celebrate with your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicappers and do it at a discount by giving you a one-time 25% off everything you can fit into your cart between now and midnight on December 25th using coupon code GIFT25 when checking out. While this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo, the value is unlimited and there is no limit on what you can add to your cart when redeeming. Daily, all access, season, pick your team, and even mix and match handicappers as the combinations are endless. Remember, there is no limit to the number of handicappers at WagerTalk and Sports Memo you can lock in, but coupon code GIFT25 will expire at midnight on Christmas. On behalf of everyone at WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and Gold Sheet, we want to thank you for supporting us in 2022 by watching our videos, following us on social media, and trusting us with your wagers. However you celebrate, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.